One thing that I've noticed lately is there's this rising controversy about the new Christian movie, Redeeming Love. Now, personally, I had no idea that this book was even a thing, but it is a movie based off a book. Basically, the inspiration for the book, according to the author, is that it is loosely based off of the book of Hosea. And there's a lot of controversy surrounding this movie right now because there is quite a bit of sexual content involved. So the controversy is, should a Christian be watching this kind of content, or should they go to see the movie? 92% of you said no, 7% of you said yes. So this is the tagline on IMDb for the movie. Sold into prostitution as a child, Angel knows nothing but betrayal. Can her heart ever be mended? Based upon the novel by Francine Rivers. So basically, the story, like I said, was loosely based off of Hosea, which I have my thoughts on that as well. Basically, the climax in the movie is this ginormous sex scene, and it's supposed to be this wonderful, beautiful thing that the crowd cheers for because this woman who had trust issues her whole life, who has been sexually abused, is now able to engage in a loving relationship. Now, that in and of itself is a beautiful story, and I believe it is a story that could be told without the sex scenes. I think the sex scenes are completely unnecessary. I think they are not anything that the Christians should be putting before their eyes. Like the Bible says, put no unclean thing before your eyes. I believe it does entice many viewers to engage in a way that's sexually immoral. I think that just because we slap the word Christian on a brand, automatically we put our guards down. One argument that I keep hearing people say is, well, the Bible is explicit, but there's a difference between tuning in for just calling it what it is, softcore porn, and reading a biblical account. So I do think that a Christian going and watching this movie, even with the best intent, does have the capability of stumbling, because it is, from what I hear, there are two very sexually graphic scenes that can go about as graphic as they can without being a rated R movie. And I do not see why that is necessary in a Christian movie. It certainly doesn't encourage Christian behavior on the set to have two people who are unmarried engaging in these activities with a crew of people around them. I understand a lot of people will be saying, oh, Jordan, you are such a killjoy. But at the end of the day, we are held to a standard as Christians, and the enemy is going to use whatever he can to let us get our guard down and introduce something that seems innocent and can become a huge barrier. And to hear that there are so many, particularly young Christian women, that are being exposed to this type of narrative through the book itself, I have problems with, because it seems like the same thing that they went through with Twilight. It's just now we are dealing with Christian characters. I think it introduces to Christian women and Christian men who do enjoy that type of literature to the same type of pornographic material that is often introduced through other books, which I don't want to name, but there's some popular ones out there that, people know to go to read for their exotic fiction, if you will. I think it's a very subtle way to introduce sexual immorality and tempt a Christian in a way that could cause them to engage in sin in such a way. And then the claim that it is loosely based off of Hosea, it's just, it's such a far stretch to me because the book of Hosea really emphasizes the beautiful nature, the unconditional love that God has for his people, the nation of Israel, who continue to go out and act adulterous. And he does this by having Hosea engage in a relationship with somebody who is very unfaithful. As far as my views of whether a Christian should or should not see this film, I personally do not believe they should. I think there is nothing about it that would cause one to draw close to God. It does put up the capability of stumbling, and that stumble for some, some might be more spiritually mature, could watch something like that, not get taken away with it, and others that could really cause them to stumble into a series of very sinful activities, and there's all sorts of things that can derive from that, So I think we need to be very careful as Christians what we are exposing ourselves to, because the majority of the world is trying to get us to fall, to stumble, to lose our fellowship with God, to be a poor witness to others, lead others astray, anything. So for me, I think that if you want to know what the book of Hosea is about, you don't need to go watch a movie, a secular production company that is being distributed to a mass audience, when you have the Bible and you can just read that account for yourself.